You are live on Talk Sport. Good morning to you.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Granny Burns was always right. You and Wheel are a pile of shite.
Yes, expand on that if you can.
Well,
Well.
it's been with through to Tommy.
What?
What?
Could you expand on your point, elucidate?
Yes. You're a pile of shite, and
Yes.
you should not be, can you do it better than this?
I wish I could. I
Well-
wish I could.
Can you...
How would that be? In what way would it be better? What would you recommend?
Tommy.
Yeah.
You're a pile of shite, mate. That's
Yeah.
really basically what you are. You know what I mean? You came back to Cheltenham, you lost all your dosh, you tell everybody on the radio that you know about horses and all that, but you really don't know nothing, do you, about horses?
Yes, I do.
Well,
What do you mean came back from Cheltenham? What do you know about horses? I've ridden round Cheltenham. I've beaten Johnny Frankham, the greatest jockey round Cheltenham. What have you ever done in racing? What do you know about racing? I ride my own horses, pal. Some of my training techniques are ahead of Godolphin's. What do you mean I don't know about horses? What do you know about horses?
well,
Who's going to win the Lincoln tomorrow?
I don't know that, Tommy. If I knew
High
that, I would-
stalls or low?
Shut up. If I
I'll
knew
tell you,
that-
a high stall horse will win it, but they will come across to the stand side.
You took your coat off in the back of Cheltenham coming a couple of years ago on a train. You don't know nothing, Tommy. You don't know nothing about horses. You don't know nothing about nothing.
Have you been out
Right.
tonight?
Yeah, I have,
Okay,
yeah.
it shows. It shows. Let's go to line 6, shall we? Good morning. You're live on TalkSport. Hello.
Oh, God, I thought you said something about a sex show. I got through to some horrible lines.
Did you want... Oh, you
No, I want to
accidentally rang
speak
a
to
sex...
Tommy Boyd.
You're speaking to Tommy Boyd, but
I'm
and
not.
he's very in... Yes, you are.
I
Well-
can hear you talking to somewhere else.
Oh, God. Turn your radio off, dear. It's you.
Oh, sorry.
I'm speaking to
Don't
somebody
be so
else.
annoyed.
Jeez.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. So you phoned the wrong number and you got through...
No,
to
I
the-
didn't.
Well, you just said you got through to a sex line. That wasn't me.
No, I thought that person who answered said something sex line.
That was me that answered, and I didn't
Well,
say
it
anything
sounded
about...
like that. And you
Well,
never know.
No, it
I'm
didn't.
living in my sister's house.
Well,
She's
that...
got all internet things
That's
and
your sister's
fax
fault.
machines. I don't live like that.
Sex machines?
No, fax machines
Oh, how boring.
and things like that because she has her own property business. And so I'm someone
she?
who lives in Brighton and I got sick, went into hospital on Boxing Day and I've been living with her ever since.
Well, that brings
I'm
us up-
moving back to Brighton on Tuesday to be where I want to be.
Well, all you've got to do now is tell us about your future, and
Why?
we've got the whole of your life there, little thumbnail
What,
sketch.
37 I am now,
You're
so I've had a
37?
fair bit
Mm-hmm. You've had a fair bit
of life.
of life.
I had a lot.
I agree with you.
I'm
It sounds
about
like.
520, I should think.
520.
Well, I should imagine by now.
What, on the scale of what?
Being alive and what you pack in.
520.
Well, I should think about that.
What does that make me
I
then?
don't know. About the same, I should think.
520?
Yeah, feels like it, doesn't it?
What, 520?
All right, then.
No, I'm up in the prime numbers,
I
mate.
don't know.
What?
And I've learnt about prime numbers.
You have.
Yeah, because I'm living with my sister and her 8-year-old son.
And they talk of
a
nothing else.
fancy school because they live in Chiswick and they're rich and I'm poor.
Yeah.
And I sold the big issue. And on Christmas Day, I nearly died. I realised I didn't want to stay alive anymore because I was too tired. They saved me because they're all rich. They booked me into a mental hospital in Lisson Grove
Yeah.
for a month. I stayed there, and my consultant knows I'm fine. He's always known I was fine. Just tired of trying to stay alive for so long.
I know, darling.
But no, I'm fine. I'm
I know,
fine
yes,
now.
yes, I
and
know.
today we
Yeah.
went to Brighton, where I do have been for 3 years, and I lost my son. I didn't lose him. He didn't die, but everyone thought he had. I went to Brighton 3 years ago. After 1 year, I moved in with a guy, with me and my son, and then we split up, and my son went to live with his dad in North London, and I'm in Brighton, and then I just had a breakdown because I was too upset, but I was still trying to be a nurse for so long, but I didn't want to feel that misery around me.
No.
And I just couldn't keep going like that. And then I was a gardener, and then I was going to paint 22 outside windows up the scaffolding. I did anything and everything rather than sign on. And I did sell the big issue, even though I come from a rich family. And that was the worst thing, to sit in that street when I think what they would have thought. Because that meant I couldn't actually talk to my family. They're too rich, and they look down on people.
Can
and
I ask
never
you a question?
did. Pardon?
Can I ask you a question?
What?
Do you say you're 37?
Yeah.
And you obviously have a really, if I may say so, you have a really...
A very tiring life.
Yeah. If I may say so, you clearly have a tremendous talent for remembering things. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah?
It's a very difficult question.
No, I don't mind.
And I don't know if I could answer it myself, but I want to ask
Well,
you
I'll
this.
try.
All right. Can you remember? I think everybody.
As long as I can hear you.
I know.
Because I'm in Chiswick at my sister's house.
I know.
Up on the 3rd floor, and there's Turnham Green tube running past.
Well, this is
It
the
suddenly
question.
came past, and I couldn't hear you.
This is the question. Can you remember the last time, how long ago it was, when, for a period of time, perhaps some days or maybe even weeks, or better still some months, that you felt as though somehow everything was all right?
I feel like that loads of the time. I try to. What? You're trying to tell me when did I feel everything was all right?
I'm just asking the question.
I know you are, but no, never. Not
No.
for ages. Never really.
No. Will you look after yourself, please?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. My
I know.
sister's got a flat today.
You'd say...
I'm moving in with someone called Phil. I'm going to be a great healer in Brighton.
All right, well,
I
will
wouldn't
you...
have done it for nothing, would I? Stayed
No.
alive.
Now, listen to me.
Why?
What did I say?
No one ever... Everyone tells me, my consultant who I saw 2 days ago,
Yeah.
Dr. Ahmed, he said, now listen to me.
Yes.
He said, I've listened to you for half an hour.
Yes. Why
I
do you
feel like
think?
saying,
Why do
"Now
you?
I'm
Why
paying
do you?
100 quid an hour.
Why do you think
You're not
why,
paying me anything, so you should listen to me. I was thinking, why should he say
Yeah.
that to me?
Well,
You're not
why?
listening to me, I've listened
Why do
to
you
you.
think? Why do you think he did say it?
Cheeky sod.
Why do you think the cheeky sod said it to you?
Because he needed to. He needed me to hear something important he was saying.
Yes. So listen to me.
Not listen to it.
No, you're not listening to me. Well, I'm sorry. I feel very much for this caller, but there's nothing I can do because, you know, I feel like going out of the studio, putting a record on, or leaving Paul to talk to you, and talking to this caller for the next 5 hours. But where would you get? Dear lady, isn't life hard? God, life is difficult. Gee whiz. No, Jesus, life is difficult. God almighty. I don't get it myself. And yet I'm told this is my 8th visit back here on Earth, Paul, by some people who know about
why are they
the
counting?
Well, it's to do with the number of times in which your soul has been reborn within another.
Does it matter how many times? How many times?
Yes, roughly 7 or 8 times is all it takes for
Well,
you to
you're-
become a wise soul and for you to go to nirvana and never return.
Ah.
So,
Have you reached nirvana yet?
no, this is according to a particular person or group of people, and yes, I should be very flattered. However, apparently I'm extremely stupid, and I like it here. I didn't know that. News to me. Poor lady.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of us feel like that. I feel like that sometimes.
When you said that, I thought, well, actually, I can't remember an extended period of time.
No. Do you know what I spend all my life thinking? If I get through this bit, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
If I do this, then everything will be okay. And I've been thinking like that for about 40 years now.
First track, you say?
First track. All right.
But you see, it works.
On a kids' TV programme called Number 73?
No.
You didn't?
No.
What kids' TV programme do you used to do then?
Magpie, What's Happening, Jigsaw, Puzzle Trail, The Saturday Show, The Saturday Starship, The Wide Awake Club,
Wide Awake Club.
Children's ITV.
Tommy.
Quite a bit. One wonderful form of employment. That one?
No, that wasn't it. No.
Oh, Lydia the Tattooed Lady.
No, but they all sound the same anyway.
What is that song about, though? Thank your lucky stars that we're not as half as smart as we like to think we are.
That's it.
But what was it that they did that wasn't that smart?
Fall in love.
That's not very smart.
It's not very smart.
It isn't.
No.
You know, do you remember, like, when you fell in love?
Yeah.
Isn't it hurt?
Yeah.
Jeez. It's agony.
You see, it's like our caller the other day who said, it's tricky to approach women and everything. I know exactly what he means, you know. But he respects women, so he feels, am I intruding on their
happiness?
If I was to come up to them and to suggest myself to them.
And
I've totally lost track of what I was going to say.
Doesn't matter.
No.
Doesn't matter. I've had a number of faxes, well, 3, to be honest, from last week. I won't mention names, but from people asking for advice on how to talk to women.
Okay.
Which is, thanks to my experience, something that I am in a position to advise on. So I would be quite happy to do that if people could be a bit more specific. If you have a particular area of your social interaction with women that you would just like to buff up a little bit, then by all means email me and I'll do my best to provide you with advice on air tonight. I will naturally respect your privacy and anonymity. If you would like me to do so, please indicate in your email, tommy@talksport.co.uk. Phone number 08700 40 50 60. Say good morning, line 5. You're live on TalkSport. Hello?
Oh, hello. Is that Tommy Boyd?
Tommy Boyd speaking.
Oh, yeah. I was just wondering about the guy about the poem where you wouldn't let him talk.
No, I wouldn't let him read a poem.
Yeah. You're a prat.
Why
big
is that?
Prat.
Why is that then?
Wouldn't let him talk.
Why is that then? Big prat. So it's funny, it's 2:30. It normally goes a bit funny about sort of 4:30, but obviously we're in some sort of accelerated personality defect here amongst callers, which is cool. Line 1, usually good for a laugh, but let's hope it's somebody who's on top. Good morning, you're on TalkSport.
Yeah.
Hello there. Hello?
Yeah, man, it's DJ Semiotic here, man.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm just calling from California, USA, and this is a rockin' radio show.
This is indeed, yes.
It rocks, Tommy. Respect anyway.
Far out.
Take care, man.
Love, peace and orange juice. Line 2, you're live on TalkSport. Who's this?
Hello.
Hello there.
Tommy.
Hi.
What is going on at your station?
Now what?
Well, I think to myself, TalkSport used to be Talk Radio. It's as if everybody's just ringing up and slagging you off, slagging that Mike Dickin off, and giving everybody a hard time. And it seems that you lot are responding to it and giving it them back. Now, we want to be entertained. We don't want... Because while you keep doing this, you're attracting all the idiots.
Who's we?
Well, yourself.
No, you said we.
Meaning your presenters.
No, I don't think you did. You said we want to be entertained. Who's we?
Us, the listeners, who tune into your station.
And how many of them? How many of those have you been talking to?
It doesn't matter how many. Well, how many have you been speaking to? You just attract.
Well, I speak to
people.
I speak to them. I speak to them endlessly on a Friday night.
One conversation tonight was the lad who wanted to sponsor a child. That's about the decent call you've had all night. I've listened to your other nights. And he's come to the conclusion that the station is dying on its feet because you're just attracting idiots. People are going to be turning that dial and tuning in with other people.
Well, I'm sorry, but you see, the simple fact of the matter is, and I'm surprised because you do sound intelligent enough to grasp this fact, but you couldn't be more wrong.
Well,
I'm just telling you a fact. You couldn't be more wrong, okay? Now, that's coming from a professional, if I may say so, to an amateur, if I may say so.
Right.
Now, you've got to just put that in your pipe and smoke it. Sorry.
What happened to all the subjects that we used to get? And people used to
Well, it
join
was
in and
boring,
go on the
boring.
bandwagon.
Trash news stories,
Well,
boring.
You reckon it is?
No, I know it is. And what's more, it does you harm to think that's what's important. What's important is you and what's going on in you, and these are the things that we're talking about and sorting out in the wee small hours.
This is why it's changing names all the time. It's going downhill.
I don't know what you said that for. That's got nothing to do with anything.
It's because you're attracting idiots.
It's got nothing to do with what you think.
How can you call it? Talk.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Radio.
What did you say? It's attracting idiots?
It's so easy for me to pick the phone up and slag you off and say, oh, you was a Lear presenter. But presenting children's shows, you couldn't ask for nothing better. Because children like learning, listening and seeing. That's the best way to start. That's where a lot of them start, and then they grow big and start going on their own shows.
Well, keep listening. We may have more conversations as engaging as this as the evening develops. Maybe you'll set a trend.
Right. Well, you never know.
You never know, do you? You never know. You never know. We might just have more sparkling, dovetailing conversations like that, with folk listening to, caring about, and responding to what the other person clearly has to say, and demonstrating that sort of cohesion, that conversational cohesion, which is essential in this social engagement, just like we had just then.
Hello?
Or we might have an idiot. I'm sorry, didn't mean you, line 3. Who's
Hi,
this?
is that Tommy?
Speaking.
Yeah, but it cost me money when I pressed 5.
Well, don't press 5 then.
No, but I mean, it's already costing me money to get through to the station. Why should I have to pay twice?
Well, don't call then.
Now, that's not a very nice attitude, is it?
Well, I'm only giving you penny-saving advice here.
No, you're not. You're being nasty.
I'm not being nasty. I'm saying don't call.
You're being aggressive.
I'm not being aggressive. I'm just telling you what you want to hear. Save money.
No, you're not. You're not answering my question.
I've answered
which I asked you politely.
Yes. I've answered your question, sir. Your question has been thoroughly and utterly answered, and you have asked me why you should be spending money, and my answer to you is, if that is of concern to you, or if it is a difficulty for you, then you would be better advised simply to enjoy the show from the radio.
Well, no, see, you're of no help at all. Would you like to give me your name?
Yes, I'm Tommy Boyd.
No, you're not Tommy Boyd.
All right, then.
Are you Paul?
No, I'm not Paul. I'm Tommy Boyd.
No, you're not Tommy Boyd.
How do you know that?
Because I know Tommy Boyd's voice.
This is ludicrous. This is absolutely ludicrous.
And I know James well, and I spoke to James well and Tommy Boyd at the same table.
At the same table?
At the same table.
I've never, ever sat down at the table with James Whale.
No, because you're not Tommy Boyd.
When was this? When did you meet Tommy Boyd with James Whale?
Let me see now. It would be 1988.
1988? 1988? Where?
It was at King's Cross.
1988? Where? At King's Cross? What, the railway station?
No, it wasn't the railway station. It was a tea room.
A tea room?
Yeah.
You met...
Wrap it up.
I think we should.
Yep.
Lovely talking to you.
And you.
Look after yourself.
And you.
Ah, dear. We're all from the same species. It's fantastic. They
just
all,
like him.
Remember, of the
He's
same
just like
species.
us.
We're identical.
We are?
We're identical. We're all the same, we are. So the other thing, when you train dolphins, initially, they all look identical. And it takes about 4 or 5 days. And then suddenly you can't, for the life of you, work out why you couldn't see how different they were. They are, from day one.
Cows are the same.
Cows are the same.
I come from a farming village. Cows are exactly the same.
In that they're not the same.
They're not the same.
No. There's cows and cows. Convene here professionally for a second.
Yeah.
Right, you did ask my professional opinion.
Yes, please.
Well, it's not a controlled conversation because you're actually just letting a lot out.
Yeah.
So we need to actually now start to give it some shape. So there is, first of all, an important observation I have to make, which will take the form of a question. We often have
a train of unconnected thinking which runs through our mind whether we are awake or asleep. It consists of images and imagined sounds. Sometimes it's logical, sometimes it's not.
But I'm getting these thoughts.
Shut up.
And one's not gone wrong.
Shut up. Now, if you were to weigh the number of those thoughts which do not materialize against the odd one that appears to have been a successful prediction,
yeah,
you'd probably find that you have something like, and I'm just guessing, but it'll give you an idea of the scale of the thing, 99,999 thoughts, which, should something happen to vaguely give flesh to those thoughts in the future, you'd be entitled to say to yourself, but blimey, I saw that happening. However, you don't. And you also eliminate them from your calculation because there's no significant event to illuminate them. However, when the 1 in 100,000 thoughts appears adjacent to something which happens later, it's understandable human nature to tie the two things together. So, quite frankly, mathematically, I would say to you, just as the philosophers say, it will be a greater coincidence if no coincidences ever happened, right?
Yep.
Something like 4 out of 500,000 random thoughts appearing to be precognitive or premonitory, all right, is probably mathematically about right. Now, what you need to do if you are interested in verification is to keep a very, very careful diary, recording not just the thoughts that you have, which appear to come true, but try to track down during the course of a typical 5 minutes, all the thoughts that you have, period, and see what kind of a range they furnish. Okay?
Yeah.
And that will be very interesting. You'll be the first person to do it since Proust. Even imagine it. That's what I'm saying. I don't even want it in my head. I was passing. Do you know Birmingham at all?
Yeah, pretty reasonably.
Well, it was late on a Friday night. I don't know what I was doing out at about 11 o'clock, and I went past a car in a car park. I was slightly above it, and there in the front seat of the car were a couple doing what couples do.
Yeah.
But they weren't wearing anything. And it was as harmless and probably as romantic and loving a scene as I've ever seen. But the fact of the matter is, I saw a bloke making love, and it haunts me to this day. I didn't want to... It was his bottom going up and down. And still, I go, "Ruh," when I think of it. So,
well, it's like blue movies. I mean, you've seen one, you've seen them all, haven't you?
He's a very, very nice man. Limo here.
Oh, that's posh.
A stretch limo
white one
with big tan leather seats in the back, and I see 3 lady tennis players dressed for tennis. None of them are Anna Kournikova, it's too obvious. One of them is worryingly that Maresmo. Do you know the guy I mean?
I'm not too up on my tennis.
Plays ladies tennis.
Okay.
And gets away with it. That's a worry.
He's got blacked out window.
That's a big worry. Yes, it's the Hohenzollern music test, which is a psychological device similar to the ink blot test, similar to the Juan El Guapo Hernandez word association test. It's a piece of music, and you are able to identify things about yourself that may have been remote by analysing the images which crowd the mind when you hear the piece of music. We play it at the beginning of each hour of the programme. We'll go straight to good old line 1. Good morning, you're live on TalkSport. Hello.
Ah, very lucky.
Hi.
Hello. Is that Mr. Tommy?
Sir.
Tommy Boyd, I think your name is.
At your service.
Yes. Good evening.
Sir.
I'm on air.
You are.
Wow. Oh, how terrific. Fabulous. I spoke to you last week or the week before, I can't remember now. Trying to tell you how poor your show is, but as usual, you just criticise the people who criticise you. You are there for criticism, Tommy, whether you like it or not.
I love it.
You love it, don't you?
Love it, pal.
Right, but as usual, we get shouted down. We don't get the opportunity.
Well, that's because the criticism's not very good.
No, generally it is. It's just that you don't
Give me
allow
some
people.
decent criticism.
Right, okay. Your show is poor.
That's poor
We are
criticism.
wanting someone better than yourself.
It isn't
on
good
the
enough. It's
radio.
not fierce enough. Come on.
Well, we're actually wanting someone better than yourself
This
on the radio
is
show.
feeble, pal. Feeble. Come on. Stand up. You're sitting down. You sound tired and depleted.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on. Do it. Take a deep breath. Come on. Wake up.
Very good, Tommy, very good. You were on about your maths so great. Congratulations. I didn't realise you had so many qualifications.
Didn't understand that. Can you speak a bit more slowly now?
Shall I sit down, stand up, talk slowly, or speed up? Which one do you want?
You really are a very poor communicator, sir.
I've been told I'm a very good communicator, actually.
Well, maybe you are. Maybe your mother loves you. Maybe your mother loves you. But yes, Cambridge Board. What have you got?
God, I'm no way to divulge my qualifications to you, Tommy.
Who cares?
Well, exactly.
What
who
difference
cares?
does it make? What difference does it
I
make?
just want you to move over to let someone who could do the programme better justice than yourself.
There's nobody in the world of broadcasting who's anywhere near as good as me. Name one person.
God, I could name 5 on the same radio show.
Do it then.
Well, Mike Dickin for starters.
No, he's not in my league. You know that.
I know. Good God, you couldn't lace his boots.
Anybody else? Go on.
Tom on the football programme at 4 o'clock off at EastEnders.
He's a good actor.
He's brilliant. He's brilliant on the radio. You know nothing. Tell me, do you know anything at all about football, Tommy?
Do I know anything about football? Okay. What would you like to know? Would you like to know about the rules? Because I'm a qualified...
No.
Listen to me, I'm a qualified Football Association referee. Would you like to know anything about the rules? What?
You're a qualified dolphin swimmer.
No, there are no
Name an English Premiership manager who's won the league. Name five European cities who have two teams.
Oh, come on, you're not very good. Will you, next time you ring to have a go, will you be a bit better than this?
Name two European sides, Tommy. You haven't a clue, have you? Name 2 European sides who have... name a European city that has 2 sides in at least the European Cup semi-final. And I bet you have no chance. In fact, if you can't name 2 out of 5, you are poor. You're on about your London side. You're on about some London side.
Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is.
You dragged me in, Tommy. You dragged me in. Yes, I've been listening to your show, yes. It'll be your usual argument.
Come
yes,
on, you
I must be
London.
so sad to listen to your programme. I must be so sad to listen to it. Come on, then.
Love it.
2 questions. Answer at least one of them.
Well, the first question didn't work.
English Premiership manager.
That's not a question. Our winner. No, look. Will you just sit back, ask the question properly, and when it's complete and proper, I'll answer it. Okay. I know what you're right.
Are you listening? Are you sitting back?
I know
Bamber's about to give you the question. All right. Name an English.
He's getting very boring, this bloke, isn't he? Come on. The thing is, he's getting very boring. What should we do with him?
Second question. Name.
He's got on to his second question now.
I know, but what do you do with him?
He's not even interested in the answer.
I love it when people have a go at me, but malice, I often say this, malice is like tennis. You shouldn't play it with somebody who is manifestly inferior to yourself. Yeah, nice try, pal. Do you want to try again in a few weeks? Practice on somebody you don't like, okay?
Cut off again.
No, not yet. Now.
I'm going to clip that. Cut off again. Fantastic.
Fantastic. Hey, it's the singing telephonist.
We've not heard him for ages.
No, well, or her, you don't know.
Let's be quiet, because I want this as well. Can't he get a bit of a flourish in there or something?
Well, I have a view on this. I do believe that if our telephone numbers were pieces of music, they would be easier to remember.
and your telephone number, you could choose a piece of music. I would choose Jerusalem. And then if anybody wanted to ring me, you see, they wouldn't have to go, oh, what's Tom's number? They just go, bom, 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 ba, ba, bom, and they got me.
I think you're onto something there.
I've been onto something for years. Line 3, good morning, you're live on TalkSport.
Quite drunk.
Yep, not bad, not bad. That's the beauty of hot calls. You get a little sort of snippet of the life of
Jerusalem.
No.
Jerusalem.
No. That's not the tune, is it?
It is.
No, it isn't.
It's done by William Blake, mate.
It's done by
How's
William
it going?
Blake, mate. What are you
How's
on
it
about?
going, Thomas, mate?
And
How
did
you
those
doing,
feet in ancient time walk upon England's mountains green? It was because the Victorians were so all-powerful, they were able to rewrite history and say that Jesus once had a fortnight in England.
Well, the people in the hospital, if he actually came back, the police had actually not followed him kind of thing. He came back and he attacked one of the nurses. He stabbed her a few times in the arm, and luckily one of her workmates actually was able to get the knife off him, and he saved her from being killed. Yet the two police officers actually, they just did a runner almost. What do you reckon to that?
I'm not going to even retain the memory of that story, frankly.
Why is that?
Why should I?
No, I'm just curious what you thought about it. I'm not
I've told you what I thought about it. I don't want it. It's not,
Why?
it's not a piece of information I want.
I mean, it was just like a sad indictment of some of the police these days.
Oh, right, an issue. Sorry, I didn't realise.
Yeah.
The issue is the police today aren't what they used to be.
Well, not necessarily, no. It was just these two police officers. What it was, they were called to a hospital, as I said.
Why be interested in something that doesn't involve you? It's got nothing to do with
No,
you.
what it was, I was reading the paper yesterday, and I read this, and I was pretty,
But whenever you
gobsmacked.
whenever you read a newspaper, you end up feeling slightly disturbed about the world.
Not necessarily, but over this story, yeah.
No, you do.
Not necessarily.
Necessarily. The bulk of what is printed in newspapers and reported as news unsettles you.
Not everything.
The bulk, I said.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So why bother? Why did you want to tell people that distressing story and give people images of mad men with knives stabbing nurses? Why do that?
Well, that's what I read in the paper yesterday.
But why pass it on?
Well, the interesting point was there were lots of crazy...
No, focus on the question. Focus on the question I'm asking.
Yeah, it was the two police officers, the fact that they...
No, I'm asking you, not about the police officers, not about journalism. I'm asking you why you felt you'd better tell that story. And what effect it may have on a person just lying in bed wanting to find some tranquility.
Well, I suppose, yeah, you got a point, but I was mainly interested in your opinion.
I got a point, and I gave you my opinion. It's a piece of information I'm going to do my utmost to eliminate from my mind. But I won't be able to, and like a lot of news stories which haunt me to this day, I'll probably carry it around for a few days until it fades. So thanks for that. Mind you, it's not your fault. Every journalist... You're live on TalkSport. Hello.
Hi, Tommy.
Hey.
Hey, you worked on LBC, didn't you?
Until they fired me, yes.
Did you give Ann Diamond one?
I didn't, no. I'd love to have done, but thank you for your call. Line 5, you're live. I have only made love to a handful of the women Make a tune out of it, for God's sake. Line 6, you're live on TalkSport. A handful of the women I've worked with. You should never, ever do that. I went out with a girl on the cosmetic counter of a department store I worked in, and when it fell through, it was a nightmare, because I had to sort of still catch her eye and things at work. So generally speaking, don't go out with people you work with. Line 6, sometimes I know people are taping themselves. A lot of people tape themselves when they're on, right? And if they're rude, what I do is often when they're gone, I say something really rude, all right, to them, just so that although they put the phone down and chickened out, all right, they have to listen to me slacking them off on their tape recorder.
Don't do it to me.
No, of course I won't. SE8WQ.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for your call.
Listen, you're great, by the way.
Yes, so are you.
Listen, you're going to keep up this law.
What I used to do, Paul, I don't do it anymore because I nearly got caught with it. This was a broadcasting trick that nobody else has ever used. You know when you're in delay?
Yeah.
Okay, if you do phone in, you have a 7-second delay. Right. And I used to always say to whoever was the operator on the programme, who had the buttons, please let me operate the so-called dump button. So if somebody came on and libelled Margaret Thatcher, I would think about letting it go out, but then I would dump it. And if somebody came on and called me, you know, an F word or something, instead of dumping it straight away...
I know where you're going. I know where you're going with this.
I had 6 seconds. Now, when a caller, a little plonker in lower stuff, right, would ring up and go, I think you're a... all right? They're expecting me to go, oh, and press the dump button. But instead of that, on the radio, they would be astonished to hear me say, yeah? Well, how about this then, you little... And I would give them what they gave me, only much, much worse and much, much, much more uncouth. And there'd be this little whimper at the other end. And then I'd dump it. But then one day, a guy came on and he said, I think you're all right. And I went to go, yeah? Well... And I looked down and I just was lucky enough to see that the dump button was already blinking.
Yes, it hadn't built up its time.
And what had happened was somebody was sick and we had a new technical operator on. And I hadn't bothered to say to him, I do the dumping. I do the dumping on my show. So he'd already dumped it. But as you know, if you have dumped, you cannot dump again for 10 seconds or something. You shouldn't tell the people listening.
No.
We'll get him now. And so had I gone, well, you are
you wouldn't have got it.
It would have gone out, you see. I went through and said to the technical operator, do you mind if I do the dumping on this show? He went, yes. He said, but you have to be a bit quicker than you were.
Can you back it up then, please?
What do you mean by back it up?
Well, you made a statement.
Well, what do you regard as proof? What we're talking about here is actually, if I may, and this is much more interesting than talking about pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Much more interesting.
Yeah, but
because here, what you've introduced, accidentally in your case, is at the very fulcrum of our existence, and that is the nature of proof. So, what will constitute proof for you?
Well, the drawing pins that were embedded in his head at the end of the match.
No, petal.
No,
I'm talking about a concept here. What is your concept of
what's
proof?
your answer to that?
What is your concept of proof? And then I will
the television
meet it.
program.
No. You don't even know what the word concept means, do you?
I don't care what it means.
Well, we can't have a conversation then.
Because you're changing the subject, aren't
I'm not. You've asked me to prove something, and I've asked you what constitutes proof in your opinion. If you tell me what you regard as proof, I will furnish you with proof.
What I saw on the television.
No, but you're asking me to prove something. I'm not asking you to prove anything. You're asking me to prove something. I want to know what you would consider to be proven. What do you want? Oh, God.
Yeah, I want you to...
Gee whiz, I get so cross sometimes.
Yeah, so do I.
You idiot man.
Yeah, so are you.
Yeah, are you walking around doing things, influencing people? Do you talk to people during the day? It's frightening.
Yeah,
do you not understand this simple question?
You're not answering the questions. You didn't answer that bloke earlier. That
I can't answer the question until you tell me what you want the question the answer to sound like.
Well, you made the statement, didn't you, that it was all theatre and all...
Can I prove it? Yes, provided you tell me what you would consider to be proof.
Anything.
Would you consider an intelligent argument to be...
Yes.
Well, why didn't you say so?
Because you don't talk in English. You always...
Don't talk in English?
You always have to... You can't
Words like concept are beyond you.
Forget about that then. Just back it up. Go on. Go on. Answer that...
No, my learned friend, please.
I'm not learned. You're learned.
You are not learned at all. You are incredibly thick. Where did you go to school? Which school did you go to? Name and shame.
It doesn't matter what school.
It does. Name and shame. Which school did you go to?
Forget about this.
Tell me the name of the school.
Answer the question.
I will answer the question on condition that you tell me the name of the school that is responsible for your vocabulary.
Because you're only going to slag it off, I think.
I think you're doing a much better job of desecrating the memory of your school.
Why do you want to know?
Because it's amusing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you want to know, because you're going to... See,
But do I have to tell you everything? Am I telling you now to inhale and exhale, to move on to your next thought?
Am
No.
I? No.
No,
Am I telling your autonomous nervous system to
Are you
continue
going
to
to
have
answer
your,
the question or
your
not?
heartbeat
Are you going
as
to
a
answer the
reflex
question?
action?
Are you going to answer the question?
Only if you tell me what you would consider to be a reasonable answer. Will intelligent argument suffice? Because I cannot...
Yes, it will.
Well, why didn't you say so?
Well, I'm saying no.
Well, why didn't you say so before?
I don't know why I didn't say
I'll
so.
tell you
I
why.
should have done.
Would you like to know why? I'll tell you
No,
why.
I just want to know the answer to the question.
Don't go falsetto on me.
Yeah, that's what you're doing. You're getting all stroppy.
This isn't Wagner.
You're getting all stroppy because I've
This
cornered
isn't
you.
Lohengrin. You haven't cornered me,
Yeah,
Petrol.
because I'm about
You,
to shut the
in your
door.
in your dreams. Listen to me very carefully. Very, very carefully.
Now answer the question, or can't you? I bet I can answer
Listen
you 5
to
questions
me.
about this subject that you couldn't answer.
Very carefully.
And I've proved your theory wrong that you know more about any subject than anybody else.
Oh, well, it's so obvious to everybody, including you.
No, you didn't answer the chap earlier who talked
sufficiently-
about football. You didn't answer those 2 questions, did you?
Of course I did.
No, you didn't. You didn't give him one answer.
Of course I did. Again, his questions were not properly formed. We're back to this thing about God having the answers
Go on, then answer
to
my
questions
question.
that people haven't even thought of, and I'm beginning to wonder if he's me.
Go on, answer the questions. You haven't answered them yet. You're going on about everything else, God and everything else, but except answering the question.
The reason
Forget about God.
that
for the
it
time
is
being.
the reason that I can be certain that wrestling is
Forget about the moves and all that sort of stuff. I'm talking about the blood and the drawing pins and all that sort of stuff. Forget about the moves.
I can't forget. You can't tell somebody to forget something. Nobody can forget on order.
Yeah, but I asked the question.
Can you
about the
forget
blood.
something on order? Can you remember something on order?
Was that
Can
the
you
question?
remember what you had for breakfast
Here we go
on the
again.
27th of March, 1999? No.
Yeah, toast every morning.
Could you forget what you had for breakfast this morning? No.
I have toast every morning so I can remember.
Yeah, but you can't forget, can you?
Well, forget about that anyway.
No, you see, you've just done it again. You're using the English language in such a lazy fashion.
So are you.
You will all...
Anything
No,
but
I'm
answer
not.
the question.
No, the precision...
Anything but
My
answer the
language is like a Rolls-Royce engine.
Are you going to answer it or not?
I began to answer it and then you interrupted me.
Well, go on, I won't interrupt now.
Okay. The reason I can be certain that wrestling is pure theatre is that imbeciles like you believe it is not. That's bloody good, that is.
Is that it?
That's bloody good, that is.
Hello?
Hello? That's bloody good, that is. I really enjoyed that.
How about
that is one of the cleverest things
Are you
I've
going to
ever
let me
heard
speak?
on the radio.
Are you going to let me speak?
No.
No, so because you're frightened about what I'm going to say.
Terrified, absolutely petrified, quaking in my boots. I really am. Quick, break out the amphetamines. I'm so afraid of this young man. Oh, poor fella. Never mind. It's an interesting thing about forgetting, isn't it? It's like, you know, you can stay awake for over 100 hours, but you cannot make yourself carry on sleeping. You can go back to sleep, but you've no control over waking up, have you?
And once you've been awake for too long, you can't sleep anyway.
The longest I've ever slept was 16 hours as an adult.
I've never counted.
What happened was I was working in America, and I worked that hard that I went to bed at 8 o'clock at night, quite early for me, and I slept in the pillow store, which was a single building. This was a huge institution, and it was just full of pillows. Can you imagine? A building full and it was from the floor to the ceiling, and I climbed on top of them, and I slept, and I slept, and I slept, and I slept. And when I woke up, I went outside, and the guys were barbecuing for breakfast. Fantastic! Quickly